What's cracking, guys? Bruce Mattson here, your host show of Metric Scout Fantasy Football, and the Combine is over. We got the numbers of all the players, and one player in this video I want to talk about today is Kenneth Walker. I feel like his performance at the Combine is big-time news for us. I think he exceeded expectations, even with the unofficial times, his 4.46 run and his 4.50 run. They're pretty good. Compared to what we were saying on the tape, there was possibilities that that 40 time could have been worse, but 4.46, 4.50 is pretty good. And then the NFL gave us a gift with that, granted him a 4.38 official 40 time. He had a 34-inch vert. Not gangbusters. It's not in the 40s, but I take it. It's solid. It's not 30. It's not 21. I'll take 34, an average vert. That's fine. But what I like most about Kenneth Walker, it's not his athleticism. It's his patience, his vision, his contact balance, his ability to just read the momentum of the defenders around him. Him playing cat and mouse with linebackers. He's just thinks a couple steps ahead. That's something that the other running backs don't really do, and it's different in his game. He doesn't have the same skill set, or a similar skill set, but different than Isaiah Spiller and Breece Hall. I want to see how that translates, but the thing is, we got a guy with a 1,600-yard season under his belt and looked good doing it. A good Combine, and more than likely he's going to get draft capital, and Combine really just gives us assurance that this guy has a little bit of gusto in them legs. The gusto in his legs is going to help him out at the NFL level. And one thing a lot of people are concerned about Kenneth Walker's game is his pass catching ability. He didn't have much receptions on his career. One thing you can look at for that is his size adjusted speed here at 211 pounds or whatever, 4.46 40, 4.38, however you want to look, which number you want to. He's got enough speed there if he gets the ball in the open field. He can cash in on that. He showed that at Michigan State. Once he saw daylight, he was gone on a lot of plays. If he caught a couple checkdowns and he had a quarterback more than willing to check it down on him, you're talking about a guy who's just going to house it on a few occasions and might get some volume. That's one thing I look at when it comes to running backs who don't get the receiving volume in the collegiate level is, can they eat up chunks of yardage in the open field? He did show us that at his tenure at Michigan State, and he did show his capabilities at the Combine, and he looked good in the pass-catching drills. However, I kind of use those as a grain of salt because they're just drills. I don't really pay much attention to them. They're more entertainment for me, if anything. But to give him some props there, I feel like he's been undervalued by the fantasy industry. I have him in the big three. I've been mishmashing them all offseason. I got Breece Hall as the top contender in the big three, but I feel like Kenneth Walker, when he's in that big three, he's pushed more up top in there, if that makes sense, between him and Isaiah Spiller. Isaiah Spiller didn't run the Combine, but I don't think he hurt his stock either. If anything, if he does fall in drafts, he's going to be a value, especially when we're getting this reset at the running back position at the NFL level. These three guys, once they're inserted, I imagine they're going to maintain their values pretty well because, again, like I said in one of the previous videos, the guys who are 25 and older, they're going to decrease in value. Some of them are going to fall off. We got some mid-tier guys around 24, 23, 22 years old. Some of those are going to face plant. Some of these rookies are going to come in, and they're going to be able to hit some value. They'll at least have that 1 year after they hit the NFL. They'll hold their value steady before we figure out what we want to do with them. But I feel like since we're hitting a reset on the running back position, that this is a good time for some of these young running backs to find their mark, to find their position in fantasy. Especially here in 2023, next year, we're going to get a slew of good running backs. That's a deeper running back class, at least right now. Injuries, bad performances can inhibit that, but right now it's projected to be a little better. We got some dogs in that class as of right now. I've seen classes change, especially at the wide receiver spot a year prior, so I don't want to jinx it, but 2023 is looking pretty sharp. But once we insert those guys with some of these guys from this draft, we should have a good crew coming in. Kenneth Walker, though, I imagine he's going to get second-round draft capital on top of his good Combine, 1,600-yard season. Let's see where he goes in the draft. but don't sleep on him. Don't be afraid to spend your first-round pick on him if he falls to you in the draft, especially for a running back. Running backs hold value, especially if they're getting a little bit of production early on. You have other options too. Trade back, trade out to 2023, trade to the vet, do what you want, but don't be scared of Kenneth Walker. He does have some good things in his prospect profile. Don't sleep on him. Running backs too hold their value in Dynasty, so it's always a good investment unless they faceplant. But usually, if they got draft capital, running backs hold their value for a bit because Dynasty gamers are thirsty for RBs. So don't be afraid to jump on him. But I want to thank you for watching the show, sticking with me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Helps, fuels me to keep putting out this content, watching the tape, grinding the metrics, doing all those mock drafts and everything else to help you make the best choices for your rookie drafts, your dynasty teams, your fantasy teams, all that stuff. Again, I want to thank you, and I'll catch you next time.